business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Ramona. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the pod.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day. Today's guest, he's going to light you up. I'm on fire right now, guys and girls. He's going to light you up like he's lighting me up, and you're going to be motivated, you're going to be challenged, and more importantly, you're going to walk away with the tools to inspire action both in your life and your business to impact others. And before we dive in here, your homework is, how are you going to serve yourself and others today? If you haven't served in a while, let's start today. Whatever day you're listening to this, serve yourself, make yourself whatever, but go out and do that service. It doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game for anybody. So lean in, take notes, and let's discover how servant leadership in business can create ripple effects that last far beyond the bottom line. And a quick shout out to my sponsor, Epic Impact, the only universal, emotionally resonant messaging framework that works around anywhere for any audience. This 4-step process for my podcast, when I pitch and when I post, is engage, persuade, inspire, and close. I use it daily and it works. Grab a free trial at epicimpact.ai with promo code Steve. Inspire action today. Well, manifestation, I'm going to tell you right now, has changed my life in the last 6 months in career, in love, relationships, my health. I just got off diabetes medicine using manifestation. So I am fired up to have my guest today. Papi, welcome to the show.
Steve, thank you so much. Namaste, my wonderful, wonderful brother. The spirit of me greets the spirit in you and all your listeners. Thank you for having me.
I love it.
Thank you.
Why did manifestation work for me?
Why did it?
Yeah.
It's working for all of us all day long. This is one of the most common questions I ask. Papi, you turned me on to this. Can you teach me how to manifest? I'll say, brother, sister, you manifested everything in your life, everything around you, every object in your room, every experience, your entire reality. We've been given this gift, Steve, as you and I were talking about ahead of time. You and I were getting all fired up, having a great preview kind of conversation. And yeah, we're given this gift, and I'm here to shine universal light in our fellow brothers and sisters and awaken this untapped creative power that lives within them. Over 9 out of 10 of our brothers and sisters are not accessing this power anywhere near. However powerful and however much ability your average listener thinks, Steve. When my kids were real young, I had three children who are grown adults now. I've got 8 grandchildren in total across the board. But they used to use a word called a gazillion. And I would just suggest to your listeners that each listener has a gazillion times more ability and more power within them than they could ever imagine.
Well, manifestation, 8 grandchildren, that's manifestation right there from a different view. I love it. Congratulations. You look so young. It's awesome. Manifestation probably helped. So people listening going, I've heard this, this is a pretty topic, people are talking about, especially after COVID. What's their first step to develop their manifestation?
Yeah, first step is, I've got a 28-day online coaching course, and I give away the first 7 days for free. And at the beginning, and I thought long and hard about that, Steve, because that's a great question, and what I did was the first 7 days that I have as a base building. So what I recommend to folks is, I had one woman, she's a super successful entrepreneur, but she works like 60, 70 hours a week. And she came to me, I was doing a presentation in New York City, said, Papi, I heard you talk the last time up here. She said, you really turned me on, and I'm reading 5 books. And I said, that's too much. I mean, it's like 5 chefs in the kitchen. So what I really believe in, Steve, is really, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, born and raised here, football player. And when I was growing up, Chuck Noll was the head football coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And no matter what, he had 4 Super Bowl rings. I don't think any coach in NFL history has more than 4. He won 4 Super Bowls. And every time they screwed up, the going got tough, they got a couple or few game losing streak, they would ask Coach Noll, they say, Coach Noll, what are you going to do? And this is the best of the best, one of the greatest coach of all time, greatest teams of all time, all these wonderful Steeler teams. He said, we're going back to practice, we're going back to basics. So I believe you start with the basics, and the basics of our fellow brothers and sisters, if you can just understand the basics, these basic building blocks. And one of the ones I say, Steve, a lot of our brothers and sisters aren't familiar with, but I even have an affirmation I'll do every day. I am so happy and grateful now. The universal intelligence, universal subconscious mind, source energy, source power created what only it could have created, a perfect and infinite universe of universes, all operating under perfect and infinite universal laws. And you and my fellow brothers and sisters, you and me, Steve, and all of our fellow 8 billion fellow brothers and sisters on this planet Earth are all living in a thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe, all operating under these universal laws. We are in the game of life. We're in the game of life. And these universal laws are the rules of the game. So just think, if you're at the holidays playing Monopoly or Parcheesi or Risk or whatever kind of card game. I was never good at playing cards. My dad was real good at playing any kind of poker and all that. And if you're playing a game and you don't know the rules of the game, universal laws. So if you understand mathematics and you say, I've got a 2 and another 2, you give that to the universe, it must by universal law give you a 4, whether that's a new purse, new car, new job promotion, significant other, better physical health, better mental wellness, love of your life, whatever it is. Universal law of love. That's the only law that fulfills all other laws. Universal law of energy, the perpetual transmutation of energy. Everything comes into form, through form, and out of form. Life does, matter does, energy does. I quote Nikola Tesla all the time, Steve. I say one of the smartest people that I can find who's walked this planet Earth in the last couple hundred years. He was walking out of a building. Somebody comes up to him and asks, Mr. Tesla, I think you're the smartest person on Earth. Can you let me know, what do I need to be smart? How can I be successful here on Earth? I want to be as successful as I can. You're so smart. You got to have the secrets to this. He said, if you want to know the secrets to being successful here on Earth, the secrets to this entire universe, Nikola Tesla said, you need to understand 3 things. You need to understand energy, vibration, and frequencies. This isn't woo. Albert Einstein, I talk about our mind. Our mind is our conscious mind working in harmony with our subconscious mind, working in harmony with our body. Albert Einstein said, your conscious mind is a faithful servant, where your subconscious mind is a sacred gift. He said, we've learned to honor the conscious mind, which is the servant, and we've forgotten all about the sacred gift that's in our subconscious mind. We were talking about what do our brothers and sisters want. I'll quote Albert Einstein one more time. He's walking out of a presentation, and a mother walks up to him and says, Mr. Einstein, I think you're the smartest person on Earth. And I have 2 children, and I love my children more than anything on Earth. I love them. And I want them to be as successful as possible. I think you're the smartest person on Earth. What possibly can I do to teach my children for them to be as smart as possible? Albert Einstein, all time, I say HOF, Hall of Fame, HOF, Hall of Fame, quantum physicist, etc. One of the smartest people to walk this earth the last couple hundred years. He said, man, if you want your children to be as smart as possible, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be very, very smart, read them a lot of fairy tales. So what was he talking about? He's talking about everything my fellow brothers and sisters is created twice. First in mine, or Steve, or one of our 8 billion fellow brothers and sisters' mind. And then secondly, the physical object back of it is completed. So all the magic happens up above our head. And that's what Albert Einstein was talking about. Use your imagination. When I reached out to the universe, and I said, because I ask a lot of questions, Steve. So I said, I'm just fascinated. Now, was Albert Einstein the greatest of all time? Because he was the greatest mathematician, like just on pure raw mathematical skills, quantum physicist skills, etc. He said, Papi, he's very, very good, but it wasn't that reason. This is the reason why he's HOF Hall of Fame, Albert Einstein, because of his imagination, how he used his imagination and how he applied himself. So we think up in our imagination, up above our head, and we're thinking thoughts. Now, when a lot of our brothers and sisters think a thought, they just think, oh, I'm just thinking a thought. My fellow brothers and sisters, you came here first and foremost to love yourself. If you realize all the awe-inspiring, gazillion times stronger and better and more talented you are than you could ever imagine, you would easily love yourself. It's appreciation, it's gratitude is what it is. So number 1, love yourself. Number 2, love your fellow brothers and sisters. This is why you came to Earth. Number 3, to do no harm. Steve, how great of a world would this be if all of our brothers and sisters love themselves, love their fellow brothers and sisters, and do no harm? So we come here also to manage and control energy. What did Nikola Tesla say? It's all about energy. So my fellow brothers and sisters, when you have a thought, most of our brothers and sisters, 97% are thinking, oh, I'm just having a thought. When you have a thought, you have harnessed and gathered energy, and you have directed it somewhere. You've directed it somewhere, and that is very important. So you have a thought, and a firework goes off up in the 5th dimension or above, and one firework goes off, and that dust and that smoke settles, you see the faint outline of what you were thinking about, a new purse, a bicycle, a new job, a new love of your life, whatever it is, you see that. Now the secret sauce is emotions. When you apply emotions to your thoughts, boom, 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 boom. Dozens of fireworks go off, and not just a faint outline, but a much more well-developed outline. So we come here to manage and direct energy, this entire universe. If you can think it in your mind, you can and will hold it in your hand. Everything is first created in our thoughts. You go to Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, because I mention these names because it's funny, Steve, because people always say, Pappy, this is all woo. I mean, this is all based off of universal laws that don't just run our planet Earth, but they run the entire universe. The law of energy, the law of vibration, the law of attraction, the law of abundance, the law of as above, so below, correspondence, the law of cause and effect, also known as the law of karma. I mean, across this universe, the law of change. So how about when I say about the law of increase? Thank goodness when the universe was created, it's the law of increase is one of the top laws. So my fellow brothers and sisters, what I hear in the universe and Earth, Mother Earth is a living being, a living creature, so to speak. Like this, we live in a living entity. And what I hear from the universe is bump, 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 like the heartbeat of the universe. And when that bump stops, you could say, hey, I wonder, is it going to beat again? Because some point in time, is that heart going to beat again? And that when it stops for that beat for a second, we as human beings call that a problem or a challenge. And it's one of the biggest things that sidetracks our brothers and sisters, Steve, is when they get what they call a problem or a challenge, is how they react to that mentally. And I say, when you get a problem or a challenge, you say, that's good. It is a blessing. You came here under law of increase and law of change. We came here to further express, expand, increase, and grow. And I can guarantee you, my fellow brothers and sisters, because I've been guaranteed from the universe. So I can guarantee you this, that within every problem or challenge is the answer to that problem or challenge, guaranteed. And I call it a little gold nugget that's in there. So look in there, unfold it. What's funny, Steve, is in business, you and I were talking earlier about like persistence and perseverance and things. I'll coach, fellow brothers and sisters, successful entrepreneurs and folks who are aspiring entrepreneurs, etc. And I'll say, how's it going? So, Pappy, man, it's they'll use some swear words or something. It's a mess. It's never going to work, everything else. And I'll say, well, what have you tried? And I'll say, I tried everything. They'll say, I tried everything, Pappy. And I'll say, okay, well, let's go through what you tried. I tried like 1,000,000 things. I said, oh, 1,000,000. I'll say, oh, no, well, thousands of things. Well, let's go to the thousands. They say, well, no. I'll say, well, no, this is Mark. I'm like, what did you, Steve, maybe they get the 2 things they tried. Maybe rarely 3. You just keep on coming back, a little bit more of this, a little bit of persistence where, I love the movie The Secret, Steve. I love Rhonda Byrne. I love the movie The Secret. She did a phenomenal job. It was a big breakthrough 20 some years ago, but the one thing about it was she underplayed action. And that's where a lot of our brothers and sisters sort of maybe come from the woo perspective, because it's not just daydreaming. It's not thinking. My fellow brothers and sisters, I love you more than anything, but you need to, in my book, I talk about efficient, inspired, joyful action. Again, everything's complete. Everything's created twice. First, in one of our thoughts. Second, the physical object back of it. There needs to be action. Now, you may even get it 80 or 90% to you from your thoughts and from your emotions, but you need to apply yourself. Other than that, it's just daydreaming, wishful thinking. You need to apply yourself.
You're on fire, man. So your journey must have got you because you're so positive, and I hear that too. Not to this level. I'm learning so much. But tell us about your journey that got you here, because you were always this positive.
No, it's very interesting. But really, long story short, I manifest everything in my life like anyone else. Now, the average human being has up to 60,000 thoughts per day. 80% are negative, 90% are recurring. So for every 5 thoughts our fellow brothers and sisters are having, 4 are negative. They tell me, Pappy, this manifesting can't possibly work because I got so much negative in my life, so much stuff I don't want. Well, 4 out of 5 thoughts are negative. You're putting 4 out of 5 negative fireworks up there and starting this chain reaction. So yeah, I did too. When I grew up, Steve, my Italian grandparents came from outside the slums of Naples, Italy. My Polish grandparents came from outside the slums of Warsaw, Poland, came here outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for work because there was no work there. It was beyond, depression type mentality. And they worked in the steel mills here in Pittsburgh for over 40 years. Now they got work, but I'll tell you, Steve, you want to talk about the sweat of your brow, the ache of your back, the ache of your arms and your neck. That was hard work. It was very hard work. my grandfather, my Polish grandfather, started reciting people that he knew in the mill who died in the mill on the job by getting smashed, crushed, flipped, flown up, and all these dangerous things they were doing. So back from what I grew up as, Steve, when I was a kid, I'm like, man, if you want to make more money, you got to work 50 hours a week, or you work 60 or 70. My grandfather's working 6 days a week. My dad goes to work in a steel mill. Now, my mom and dad were born at the very beginning of the Great Depression. They spent collectively their years, 18 or 19 of their collective years on Earth, through the worst part of the Great Depression in the United States you could ever imagine. So my grandparents come over, my Italian grandma's got a third grade education. So money was such a limiting belief, Steve, in my family. My dad, from going through the Great Depression, from my grandparents over there, it was, what do you think you are to Rockefellers? You better you may never have a nickel. You'll be lucky. What do you think? Money grows on trees. It was so negative around the money. So a lot of limiting beliefs, but you get through that. My dad died in his early 20s. He bought a restaurant. He said, I don't want to work in a steel mill the rest of my life. So he bought a restaurant. We're working there 7 days a week. And then my dad passed away in his early 50s. So I dropped out of school. My brother did, helped my mom for 15 years. And then I said, hey, I'm not going to be doing this the rest of my life, working 7 days a week in a restaurant. I've always been good with numbers, always been good with people. So I hung a shingle in 1989, DiNuzzo Wealth Management, DiNuzzo Private Wealth, with $0. And it would be the answer to a trivia question, I think, that there's over 35,000 firms in the United States. And if you said what firms started with $0 and organically, no mergers and acquisitions, no buyouts, no fold-ins, didn't bring in one broker who brought money in or anything, 100% organic, that grew that from $0 to over $1 billion, we're the answer. So that's one of us out of 35,000. I attribute it all to manifesting. But I'll tell you what, Steve, I manifested, and my number was 10 million and 25 and 100. But even at 100, even at 200, I had so many limiting beliefs about money. I would literally pray not to have any extra money. So my fellow brothers and sisters, whatever you give your thoughts to, whatever you place your thoughts upon, and whatever you apply emotion to, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the only thing that can grow is the thing you give energy to. The only thing that can grow. We're both good and bad. If somebody we don't want to, you were talking earlier about a great idea about when you were talking about your cause and your mission in life. That's one of the great ones I learned off of Earl Nightingale. Treat every fellow brother and sister of yours as if they're the most important person on earth. How wonderful the world would be for that. So we get into manifesting this, but I'm manifesting I just want to hit this number. Money's the root of all evil. I don't want any more. And I hit numbers, Steve, but I just barely hit them. I never had any extra. I mean, I had food on the table, but it was never like where I wasn't sort of a degree of anxiousness, because there's no cushion. So finally, when I finally eschewed and jettisoned threw those overboard, my limiting beliefs, when things really took off. So one day, when I cracked the code, and I'm a fact finder, and I go back and incessantly, I'm obsessed with it so one day I convinced myself, I wasn't convinced, but I was convinced one day. I said, I'm 100% convinced in every fiber of my body. I've manifested everything in my life. I'm 100% convinced. I've done it through the law of attraction. At that moment, the universe put up on a big screen in front of me a silhouette of a male and a female. I said, okay, Papi, now that you cracked this code, what are you going to do? And I pointed to the female. I said, that's who I'm going to help right there. I'm going to help women. And it gets back, if somebody reads my book, for all the, trials and tribulations my grandmothers and my mother went through, I dedicate my life to those. Those are my muses. Those are my heroes. You go through their stories. My Italian grandma, third grade education, 5'0", had 13 kids. They come over to the United States here, drops out of school. She's swinging a sledgehammer in the stone quarries outside of Naples, thinks she's going to die. And I saw that look in her eyes when I was about 7 years old in that little tiny steel mill part in Midland, Pennsylvania. It changed the rest of my life. I saw that silhouette of the woman, and I said, that's who I'm going to help. And they said, anything else? I said, yes, children, include children with the woman. And they said, anything else, Papi? I said, not at the exclusion of anyone, but black, brown, tan, and white. Some of our fellow sisters, we could say Africa, different parts across the world. It's been rougher being a woman, and I have so much respect and honor. Women are the glue that holds us all together. But, women and children in need all across the color spectrum, across the entire globe. I'm doing things in India, Africa, South America, to honor this, so to speak, going forward. So on that day that I did that, I just said, I'm devoting the rest of my life to sharing this gift. It's very similar. I was telling you earlier, Andrew Carnegie's come through to me hundreds of times. And he said, Papi, when I was getting older, he was in New York City, Steve, when he was older. He said, Papi, I woke up one day, he said, I thought I was having a heart attack. I was going to die. And he said, and it struck me, no, it's not a heart attack. He said, I was having a panic attack because what I was thinking about is, he said, every dollar, Pappy, that I accumulated on earth, I accumulated by manifesting to the law of attraction. And he said, the reason I had a panic attack, he said, Pappy, it dawned on me at that moment in time, like a ton of bricks had hit me. He said, they're not teaching any colleges. They're not teaching any universities. There's no books on it. It's not in the news. It's nowhere. And he said, so at that moment, he said, also, he said, Pappy, on top of this, I know a number of my fellow billionaire buddies have done it the same way. So he said, I'm going to devote the rest of my life to getting the word out. He said, I'm not a good writer. I was an older man. So I want to see, who am I going to teach all this to? He interviewed a couple dozen authors. He settled on Napoleon Hill, told Napoleon Hill every single thing he did. So he accumulated, he was considered potentially the richest person on earth when Andrew Carnegie lived, probably easily one of the top 5 entrepreneurs in the history of the United States. Napoleon Hill takes everything Andrew gave him and writes Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich has sold over 100 million copies, been read by over 300 million of our fellow brothers and sisters. So nothing woo about that. He gets older. He hires a young Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale gets older, hires a young Bob Proctor. Bob got older. When Bob passed away a few years ago, I was in his inner circle class. I must have watched Bob's tapes and films, by the thousands. So this torch has been handed off from Andrew Carnegie to Napoleon Hill to Earl Nightingale to Bob Proctor to myself. I'm the current torchbearer on this. My book is Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, and I make it available for free as well. So I say, like, Bob Proctor literally read at least a page in Think and Grow Rich every day for 60 consecutive years. So I just, we remind our audience, Steve, when it gets back to that comment I said about the Secret movie earlier, how much time our fellow listeners on your show, on your multitude of listeners on your show, who you're shaping their lives with your wonderful mission, how many of them are spending time? How much time are we spending on self-help, self-improvement, personal development? How much time on the couch eating potato chips maybe, or how much time scrolling through social media? My fellow brothers and sisters, you don't even have to work as much time on improving yourself, but just a little bit of time. Just take a fraction of time you're spending on watching TV, on social media, on whatever else it may be right now, and work on improving yourself. Listen to Steve. All the stuff he was telling me before I got on, I'm like, he's a brother from another mother. I said, Steve, you and I definitely been drinking from the same water. So listen to this gentleman. Listen to Steve. He knows of what he speaks. And there is a secret. Look at what he's done, a testament to his life. And it is all across the board. As Steve said, health, wealth, love, relationships, happiness, spirituality. You can, I'll use my kids and even my grandchildren's word, gazillion. You can improve your life by a gazillion. You can actually manifest and you can desire beyond your wildest dreams. You literally have this power within you.
And you're absolutely right, Papi. Anybody can do this.
Yes.
You're not special. I'm not special. No. I say this all the time, but you're special and me special because we took action. That's the problem with manifestation, any visualization, law of attraction, which you've got to take action. You can't just read the book and go, right, the fork in the road. We're coming close to the end here.
Beautiful.
There's so much I can go to. We're going to bring him back for part 2. This guy is just off the charts. Visualization. Hard for me to say, but incorporate that in manifestation.
Yeah, visualization, actually, what I do, I actually have a Papi mindset coach, a coin. I call it a Vega coin. I just pulled this out of my pocket, and I try to make it simple. I made it in my book, 15 key ingredients. And Steve, I modeled this off my Italian grandma's marinara recipe, and nobody ever knew the recipe. She would never tell you, but I just said, hey, pretend like there was 15 key ingredients in there. So I made up what I call a Vega coin, VEGGA. And that's so funny. We didn't talk about this earlier, but that's the first letter. Visualize with emotion your goal with gratitude and take action. My fellow brother says just these 5, visualizing. So what happens is, I don't like get into scientific. I come to everybody from a perspective of 100% spirituality. I'm neutral as to religion, neutral as to politics, everything else. But this is just from 100% spirituality. My fellow brothers and sisters, if you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. The most powerful thing you can do is visualization. You visualize, listen to all the masters out there, all the geniuses who have taught this and try to share this over time. By visualization is the most powerful. We've got sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. Our visualization is our most strongest sense. Close your eyes. I get on a treadmill, Steve, and I'll do 45 minutes on average. I do a maximum of 1 hour and 11 minutes. I shut all the lights out. I put goggles on, like they years ago used to go in sun tanning beds, like those kind of goggles. And I got a steady pace on, and I got my chill music on, no words or anything. And my body's like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, boom, boom. And my fellow brothers and sisters, I just go through my life. I go through my doctors talking to me about how great my results are coming back. So health, wealth, love, happiness, relationships. And even by using your feelings to drop it in, so you have your visualization and then apply your feelings. So you can do this through affirmations, through intentions, through prayers. When you do your prayer, make sure the universe says, surprise you, Steve, most prayers that are offered up with a negative vibration. Well, you do not want to do that, my brothers and sisters. It's your thoughts and it's your emotions that are a secret sauce. And if you're doing something with negative thoughts and a negative vibration, negative emotions, it's better off not even doing it rather than putting that out to the universe. So visualize the life that you dream. What's the downside? I say to this, Steve, there's no downside. It would make you happy just thinking about it. Just whatever you're thinking about, health, wealth, happiness, love, whatever, about that dream vacation, your job promotion. And I tell you, my fellow brothers and sisters, at first you'll be surprised whenever positive things start to happen. And after a while, just like Steve was describing to me earlier before we got on, win after win after win, success after success, it's not a surprise. You literally do possess access to all knowledge and all power inside of you. You would never be sent here without the ability, even without a shirt on your back, without a penny in your pocket. The creator of the universe would never say, call me when you get $10,000 in your bank, or once you buy a car, once you buy a house. No. The creator would never do that. You've been given the power to manifest. The kingdom does truly live within inside of every single one of your listeners. And as you said, I'm talking to folks from India, Africa, South America, and the gleam in their eyes that they get it when they get it and they're on their way. So thank you so much, Steve, for letting me share this wonderful message.
Oh my God, it's an incredible message, because I'm thinking the prayer could be, I don't want to be broke anymore, or I'm going to be a millionaire.
We can have anything, guaranteed.
Yeah, you're going to be broke if you say that. You're going to be a millionaire if you say that. And people are like, what do you mean? Well, it's happened to me, so I know.
Yes.
Let's end with a fun question, and we'll bring him back. I know, audience, I know a lot of people I'm going to share this with, but what a great tool to share with people to bring them up if they're down, is sharing this podcast. But let's end with a fun get to know Papi question. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant in Youngstown. By the way, I got a lot of friends in Youngstown. Love that you're near there. You're going to sit in one of the chairs. The 3 empty chairs, who would you invite to sit and talk to, whether they're dead or alive, and what food would you order for the table?
Who would I invite? Well, I mean, I'd invite Yeshua. I'd invite Jesus. Yeah, for sure. And, I got so much respect for ancient ascended master counts on the table of humanity. I mean, for them to tap me on the shoulder, Andrew Carnegie, I would invite Andrew. We need a couple more seats, Steve, but
bring as many chairs as you want. It's your table.
Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill. Of course, I'd have my family there as well, the Italian family, and that blends into the food, because anytime you get a group together and it's the group full of love and there's love being shared, it's got to be an Italian feast. So, I mean, I'm thinking of a great Italian restaurant. When you first said that, Michael Alberini's in Youngstown, Ohio, and Boardman. Michael Alberini's multi-generational family from Warren, Ohio, now in Youngstown. But yeah, it's a beautiful Italian feast. And the bigger the meatballs, the more love, Steve. That's how you can tell. The bigger the meatballs. We don't want no tiny little meatballs. The big meatballs, that means there was a lot of love put into that. Cooking with love, Italian style. That's what we love.
Papi, you had me at marinara earlier.
Marinara.
So
Marinara.
I grew up with all that Italian. Half Italian, so I love it. People listening, first, thank you for taking the time. And audience, this is a Saturday. This gentleman came on a Saturday. That's a servant's heart. He's got a free, partly a 7-day free workshop and his book. Tell us how we can get that, how we can connect with you.
Yeah, I love giving away things, because one of my coaching recommendations, Steve, is read my book and read at least one page every day. So manifest anything you can imagine. If you go to my website, Papi, P-A-P-I, mindsetcoach.com, at the very top, there's only one thing that you'll see. This says the word free course, free challenge. You go there, put your first name and last name. You'll get the first 7 days for free and air. Super valuable. I can tell you, my fellow brothers and sisters, the information I have in those first 7 days took me decades and decades to understand, just the first 7 days. And then further down the first page, Steve, it will say free ebook. So I would never tell anybody, read my book every day like I'm trying to get them to buy it. I'll give it away for free just so you get access to this awe-inspiring universal knowledge. So 2 free things on my website, PapiMindsetCoach.com, free 7 days of my classes, free 7 courses, and a free ebook for you as well.
Thank you. My God, Papi. And audience, this is what I tell you. You know that listen to me. Give your stuff away for free. He just built $1 billion CPA. I'm sure he helped people for free. You can give this stuff away. The universe loves it. Oh my God, you got me fired up.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm going to be the audience, the first to buy the book when this show's over. It's Saturday the 26th. I better see 30, 40 book spot in the next 20, 30 days, because one book like this could make a change in your life that you never could imagine. And that's why the personal development you talked about. And I want you to also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And here's why. I said it earlier, but you listen to this. I'm going to share this link with a number of people. Yeah, I'm the host and I got my channel, but what a gift I'm giving. What a gift you can give a Papi for 15, 20 minutes of what he just talked to us about. Is that an impact? Beautiful. You tell me, email me and let me know. With that being said, me and Papi want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day.
Namaste.
Namaste.